ESGNation, and welcome to another episode here of the Highland Scotties Teambuilders Dynasty. And this is NCAA 14. We're back here with some Scotties sports talk, and this is episode 58. And today we are going to take a quick preview of this upcoming game coming up, which will be you'll see here on the channel on Friday, and that'll be the national championship game between Highland, ranked number 2 in the nation right now, taking on number 1 ranked Georgia, who is currently 13-0 and of course won the SEC championship. Highland, of course, won the Big 12 championship and had a crazy up and, well, not much up and down, but kind of a crazy last couple of games here. Guys, a lot of several nail biters, and of course, so we could be in another one here taking on Georgia. And of course, Georgia having a great year here, going undefeated in the SEC, and of course being dominant as they have been in the last couple of years. And of course, I believe this will be our second time now we've taken on an SEC opponent. A third time we've taken on an SEC opponent, twice against Alabama, and then this will be our most recent here with Georgia. As you see there, tell the tape to look at the rankings right now, and of course, looks like Herb is going to go. He's going to go out behind us and support us there. As both teams, of course, they played one more conference game than us. But there you see 13-0 for both teams, 9-0 with the Big 12 for us, and of course 10-0 for Georgia. As you take a look here, points per game goes for us, total offense, but rushing offense seems like they are the heavy favorite in that one. Getting about 187 yards a game. As for passing, it looks like we're in that favor. As for total defense, looks like they have the better defense. And of course, we have the top rushing defense, as we have not given too much. We've been pretty stingy there when it comes to that. 100 yards a game this season for the most part here. Pass defense goes to Georgia. And of course, the turnover differentials, as you see there, we are not doing so good in that there, as we have -6, and of course they have 14 there. They're ranked number 2. So it's gonna be I really think, I hate to say this is a cliche, but this is a classic. Good defense versus great offense, and both schools got a lot of talent on their part, and could do a lot of good things. Either one of these two teams could be walking out of here with the national championship. But there you see A+ for us, A- in our defense, A+ for their offense, and of course B+ for their defense. A overall for us, and A- for Georgia. And like I said, this is really going to be a really good matchup here. We'll take a look at some of their players here in just a bit. But for the most part here for Highland, our key thing is for this game is just to make sure we just hold on to the football. Of course, our Heisman Trophy winner, Jasper Reed did a great job this season, even though he had a crazy up and down season with the numbers he was putting up here, both good and bad. For the most part here, we're glad to see him win the Heisman for us. But there you see Georgia's numbers there this season. The only game they had that was kind of scary for them was probably the Mizzou game. They went in overtime there and win that one 27-24 in the final in that one. Of course, the big blowout, if I'm looking at this here, it looked like it was Bowling Green. They won that one 77-28. Just went buck wild on the Falcons there on that game. But they played, looks like they played quite a few ranked opponents. Of course, played Alabama, had a very nice game against Alabama there just a couple weeks ago, defeating them 45-28 in that one. Of course, Georgia Tech, they played in a non-conference, and as well, take a look at LSU. They played them in the big SEC championship. Now they played them back in week 2, or first game of the season, 48-28. But then LSU, I guess, since then has looked to see, and LSU giving up, of course, 43 points, but end up only getting 22 for themselves, and they lose that game there the second time around, especially when they count it there. And then, of course, now they're going to have to play us for the national championship. Now, we're going for our 5th national championship in 6 years. And we have been pretty dominant here. We've been doing pretty good here. And this usually, the national championship game, we start seeing some breakout stars that start looking like they could be something the following year here. Of course, Jasper Reed won the Heisman. We don't know if he's going to come back or not, but I'm sure he would like to put on a great performance here. And maybe if he does well, maybe he'll want to possibly go to the NFL. If not, stick around. But they just decide. That's just the decisions he's gonna have to make, along as the other players there on the team. But there you see our schedule there. We did pretty well there. We had some pretty close games. Kent State game was just a monster blowout there. Beat them 84-20, and then it started getting really interesting. That UTSA game was kind of scary there, especially in the first half, and then kind of second half we kind of ran away with it. But then you got a close game there against West Virginia. The Kansas game was even scarier, where we just could not pull away from them until finally the fourth quarter. We finally got ourselves to settle down and played well. Kansas State as well was another one that kind of got us. They got us early, but then kind of our nerves finally settled down, and then we just kind of took over the game. Western Kentucky, of course, they were very impressive this season, even though the record doesn't not show that. But they would just put up the numbers they had in a lot of their games. What they were putting up, they were very impressive, and I would love to keep them in the Big 12. But we have to see here, as I've been kind of saying already, we are going to make some major changes here to the conference realignment here. We'll talk more about that in the off-season video. But TCU, of course, that one right there, if you guys not seen that game right there, that was a doozy. Oh my goodness, it came down to a final play, and thank goodness that the defender shifted, went one side and we went the other, because other than that game could have definitely ended our season going undefeated, or especially our chances to get to this point where we're at right now in the national championship. But TCU did a great job there. I cannot wait to see if we play them again. Then we turn around? We had to play Texas the following week, and again another nail biter, winning that one by 2 as well, 39-37. That was a crazy game there in Highland, and that the quarterback there just did a number on us. BYU, of course, that was a great game we played in. That had a lot of good moments as well. And then, of course, the Texas game, we just took them out. Texas, I don't know where they were doing compared to what they were doing to us when we played them at our house. I don't know, but Joey Galloway was nowhere near. This could have been the game he could have really did something to us, because he had us in that first game that he played against us. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half, over 100 some odd yards on the ground, nearly 200 yards through the air. I mean, he had us in that first time we played against him at home. But then when we played in the Big 12 championship, it was he was kind of a no-show. Just don't know where he was at, and and not to mention he was up. He was he's one of the top 5 people for the Heisman, and just didn't show up for that game. So, but as for us, we got Lucas there, their quarterback for Georgia. There you see his numbers from the last game they had played in against LSU. The 33-45, 431 yards, 5 carries for 3 total touchdowns there. So he had a great game, as well as Golden, who was another individual that was up for the Heisman, and he had some really good numbers going throughout the season. Of course, there you see his numbers: 29 carries for 146 yards, a touchdown, as well as some pretty good receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. So he was definitely trying to pull all the stops there, but I believe he can end up in the Heisman race as the runner-up. But there you see the Georgia, their numbers. There you see the division. They were 0-6 in the division, conference-wise 10-0, and as well as the overall record 13-0. They're 5 stars. 5-star program. There you see they're 97 overall is 93 overall, but their offense is 97, and of course defense is 90. So we definitely going to have to make sure we can do some work here and make sure we don't get them get ourselves in trouble with their team. As like I said right here, Lucas is one of the top quarterback right there for them. 28 touchdowns this season so far. Last season he had 28. He had 6 fewer interceptions this season compared to the previous season there, but had a great year here. You see there over 3,000 yards passing, and just look at his numbers are just getting better and better from year to year. And of course he is a redshirt senior, so we'll see. Good chance he could be, possibly in the NFL next season. In our franchise that we have there, Madden 23, he could be possibly in that pool of players that we could possibly see show up and become something in the NFL. But there you see, just a great numbers there, and of course we got to try to slow him down as much as we possibly can there. He is also a runner. He likes to run as well. I think he had close to almost 1,000 yards rushing this season as well. So just a really good athletic quarterback that can throw the, obviously throw the run on the pass. Looking at some of his tapes of the games for this past season, he is definitely going to be somebody that could, if he gets in the red zone, that's the time when we really may need to kind of pin our ears back and just try to apply as much pressure as we possibly can. And I think we really, for the most part, we have to do that throughout the whole game, but especially in the red zone there, he is going to be a dangerous individual for us. As well as this man right here, Mike Golden, redshirt senior, 5'11", 179 pounds. You take a look at his numbers there, 18 rushing touchdowns this season. His longest rush was 96 yards, giggity. And there you see yards per carry, over 6 yards per carry there. So his numbers are going up. He's definitely running 5 yards per carry these last at least 3 seasons that he's played now. And definitely put up some numbers there. It's over 1,000 yards this season, 1,196 yards. And so just, to the second year, he's a 1,000-yard rusher. And really can, excuse me, take a look at his numbers there, broken tackles. Just one more better from compared to last year. No fumbles this year. Only had 2 fumbles just last season. So he is definitely a well-versed, just overall just solid halfback. And he is definitely going to be a problem for us running up the middle there. He's built like a tank. So we're definitely going to have to try to slow him down. Our rush defense is going to have to kind of be on T here against them and make sure we can put a stop to them. And then you see some other players there, Melton, Williams, Manning, and of course Williams as well. They got 2 Williams there actually. And Rogers are some top guys there that are definitely have some good speed there and definitely can cause problems, especially for Manning there. He has 93 speed. And looking at some of his numbers there, he could be just a weapon out there in the slot position there and cause some trouble. But we'll take a look at Lee Williams, junior redshirt. He definitely could have a good chance to go to the NFL. Looking at some of his numbers and what he's done this season, even though he only has 3 receiving touchdowns this season, the kid, he's definitely a role player here. I don't know, he might come back out next season just be able to get some more stock in his possible being drafted, but he's definitely going to be one of those guys that could definitely be drafted next season easily. I mean, if he doesn't go, I would say he needs to at least wait another year, and then he could definitely be a top in the first round, but I think this year he'll probably be a late mid to late second round type of player. Dan Melton, redshirt senior, 6'3", 191 pounds. To take a look at his numbers there, 7 receiving touchdowns, a little bit low compared to last year, as he had 10. And again, that's another player that we're definitely have to watch out for offensively. Defensively, Joey Carroll. Take a look at his numbers here. You see tackles for loss 21, 27 tackles there, so he definitely knows where he's at in the ball. 44 assisted tackles this season. So like I said, he knows where the ball's at for the most part here. 8.5 sacks. He is definitely a guy that I'm really. This is the guy I'm kind of worried about when it comes to the edge rushers and getting in there on the blitzes and stuff like that. Because Reed has had trouble with that and not getting away from those defensive linemen. So Carroll could be a problem for us very early on if we don't recognize him and get some better pass protection there. Because of course, our offensive line, it's been kind of seesawing back and forth, and there's been times, especially those close games there, where I'm just thinking like, there was times we had to pull Reed out just a simple fact, just that they were just pummeling him on that line, and they were getting a hold of him too often, so we had to bring in Stafford to come in and help him out. Ross Allen, there you see 6'2", 296 pounds, another defensive tackle. This time they won the interior tackles, but he's also, I've seen in some gameplay, they've put him on the outside as well, so he can definitely cause some trouble there on the outside. Only 2.5 sacks this season, but I'm sure that he'll probably doesn't look like he played at all last year, so he might still have another year of eligibility. But for the most part here, he's definitely a guy that we could, definitely could be an issue for us. Especially this man right here, the outside linebacker there. He's known for playing left, but he can also play right. Patrick Hines, 6'3", 235 pounds, redshirt senior. He is ready to go here. As you see, best linebacker of the season. He got that nice award there. And, of course, a lot of people in the NFL are looking at him as possibly a late first round, early second round pick. And there you see 6.5 sacks there. Of course, he has some pretty good speed. I wish I would have shown his speed numbers there, his attributes there. But he has some pretty good speed for outside linebacker. And he can come in on the blitz from time to time there. So I'm sure they're going to be setting that up. They're going to set up some good pressure situations here for Reed, because, like I said, our offensive line, it's wobbly. If you've seen in the last 2 games here, it's just we're limping when it comes to the offensive line. And I think for the most part here, we're going to have to make sure we take that pressure off of Reed and run the ball here with Davison and, of course, TJ as well. We're going to have to use those two and utilize them quite often just to take the pressure off him. But of course, at the same time, I think there are some mismatches when it comes to the passing game, and so that means the guy we're going to throw to is no more than Godfrey, and give it to him because we've seen here in the last couple of games he's been really doing a great job of stepping up because with his numbers he's been put up this season, he could definitely be a guy that we could try to go after the Heisman again, but this time in the wide receiver position there. So. We'll see. This game could be a breakout game for Godfrey and for any of the other, because we are going to try to use some backups in this game as much as possible. Because, like I said, Godfrey, that's one of the things with Reed. For whatever reason, his stamina is just kind of just wonky. So we're going to have to try to keep a close eye on that. And if he gets too tired and not able to perform out there, then we'll have to bring in Stafford to help him out and get him a couple of snaps as well. Because Stafford could be our guy. Just kind of get him ready for next season. Because Stafford could be our guy. That could be our starter. Mark Jackson, 6'1", 212 pounds. Redshirt senior. There you see 5 pass deflections. He had 8 last year. Only 3 interceptions this year. And of course, that's been a thing for us too as well. We've been having a bit of the interception bug as of late. We do have double-digit interceptions. We had 41 touchdowns this season, but interceptions could be, has been an issue for us too as well. That's why I was surprised with, I know they put so much weight on touchdowns, but they also put a lot of weight on, interceptions and how many interceptions you throw. And that's why I was kind of surprised. Like if we win the Heisman with Reed, and we finally did. I was really kind of being, that was one of my main concerns. Joey Wilson won't be in the game. He has a fractured foot. He'll be out 3 weeks. And then Melton, he has a broken collarbone, so he will not be in the game. He is their top player. He's actually been out for a couple of weeks now. I just realized this now as I read some of my notes here. So yeah, he's going to be out for a while. And then of course, just take a look at some of the Georgia numbers there, like I already mentioned already here. Lucas just having a great year there. Just stayed right at 10 interceptions this season. Completing 59% of his passes. Porter, his backup is just as good there. A lot of people are talking about him possibly taking over the reins for next season. And then we'll take a look here at Golden. His numbers there, like I mentioned, 1,196 yards this season, 18 rushing touchdowns. Wilson right behind him, just 4 back, having 14. And then, of course, look at Jerome Manning, and then Williams, Hall, and then, like I said, Dan Mel is going to be out for a while for the remainder of the season, which sucks for him because this is his senior year. And, he was putting up some really good numbers at the start of this season, and now unable to play in one of the biggest games possibly of your collegiate career that anyone could possibly play in, and he's going to have to be on the sidelines there. So it really sucks. But Hall's been picking up pace there for him. He has 8 touchdowns of his own, so he's been a great job there taking over that wide receiver number 1 position. And then you take a look at some blocking and blocking numbers as well. But I think for the most part here, we're just going to have to just stay within our game, run the ball, what we're known for, watch over the turnover issues. Like I said, I feel like there are a couple of mismatches when it comes to the from wide receivers to corners for us. I think the corner. I'm sure they're going to have their highest rated corner on us when it comes to Godfrey. But like I said, we're going to try to do some things around. We're going to flip some guys around on the field and just try to see if we can find any mismatches here. Because there's a good chance that we can, there's a good chance that our luck that we've had here as of late could run out very quickly when it comes to these games. Because like I said, we've been on borrowed luck as of late, and we had 2 games we came closer to losing, winning by 2, simply just 2 points. And I don't want to have that mentality that, like, oh, we're gonna go here and get our butt kicked. But at the same time, I'm gonna try to keep it realistic and just try to play as best as we can and put the best guys out there as we can. And like I said, if we have to change up the lineup, if we have to, if I have to sit out Reed, and I really don't want to do that to him because he won the Heisman. I want to show why he won the Heisman. But at the same time, I mean, if he's throwing some bad passes or takes any big hits, because I do like to scramble outside the pocket with him and get down the field to get those rushing yards as well. If we're just getting beat up too poorly, if we end up having a game like we did against Texas the first time around, I do not want to go through that again, and we'll just have to just bring in another quarterback to help us out. So let's just put it that way. We don't want to have a repeat of the Texas game where they literally beat us in the first half there, just especially in the first quarter alone. So, but yeah, for the most part here, I think it's gonna be a good game. It should be a competitive game. I think in national championships, I think we are right now 1-1 against the SEC. Of course, that's back when we played against Alabama back in year 1, which we lost, and then I think it was in year 3, either year 2 or year 3, we went back again, and we ended up winning the national championship off of Alabama. It was some games back here, so we'll try to see if we can go 2-3 against the SEC team and bring home our 5th national championship in 6 years. I know it's crazy, but we'll see what we can do. But like I said, that game will be up on Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. Central Time here on ESGNet, so stay tuned for it. I cannot wait for it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. But stay tuned for that and more. But that's it for this episode of the Highland Scotties Sports Talk. If you guys have anything you guys want me to cover or discuss more about that I didn't discuss in the video, let me know down below. Also, too, give me your predictions of who's going to win this game and what the score will be. Maybe if you're close enough, maybe you'll get a prize. I don't know. But definitely check out that game, like I said, on Friday. But that's it for this. Like I said, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for more here on the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. The links are down below in the description. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch, as we do live stream over there on on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Central until about the wee hours of 1 a.m. Central. And not to mention, don't forget to check out our other content on our second channel. We got some other college football on there. Check us out there on ESGNet plus LP. Link is down below in the description as well. And I will see you all next time. Go Scotty Nation.